Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Hecteezy, and I'm back with the podcast. Yes, after a long time, I'm back with the podcast, and this time we're gonna switch up the podcast format. How the style, how it was. I'm gonna try to focus more on sports, and not just or just anything really, whatever comes to mind, but mainly focusing on sports. Current events, stuff like that. Two big games that I'm going to be watching today. I'm going to be watching the West Ham versus Fiorentina game, and then the NBA Finals game 3. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Heat do in game 3 at home, and then if West Ham can continue pushing that Premier League in Europe dominance, see if they can push towards that, or if it's going to be the Italian league, the Serie A resurgence and comeback. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. So, West Ham versus Fiorentina. This is the Conference League final. This is basically, for people that don't know, it's the third tier or the third best European competition that Europe has. So obviously Champions League is number 1 and Europa League is the second best tournament and competition. And then recently they made the Conference League for those teams that might just have missed out on Champions League spots or Europa League spots. They get to play in the Conference League competition. The first Conference League winner was Roma from last year, led by Mourinho, which got him into Europa League. Funny enough, he was in the final last week of the Europa League, unfortunately lost to Sevilla, who are kings of the Europa League. Now they have 7 Europa League titles. So, kudos to Mourinho, because he was able to bring back Roma to European prominence, to relevance, really. Before he took over, they kind of were in a weird space where they weren't really fighting for the Scudetto. They were really pushing towards European places, the top 6 in that league. They were kind of a, mid-table team. Here and there, a couple good players came out of there, would pass through, but nothing crazy. No team really stuck out. This team he has assembled with some homegrown players like Spinazzola and Pellegrini, Nissan Dybala, Tammy Abraham from Chelsea. So, nice squad that he assembled, and they're looking to push forward next season into European spots. I heard they signed Hassan Mawar on a free from Lyon, and I believe they had a couple other big key players that are looking to sign with Roma. So it's the Mourinho pull. He definitely has a great pull, and anybody would be very excited to play under him. He's a tactician of the game. He's true to his ways. Very defensive but solid. Defense first, and then look to counterattack or play on the counter. Try to move forward with space, and it works for him. It works for his teams. So, but yes, back to West Ham and Fiorentina. This Fiorentina team is very underrated. I think nobody expected them to be there. They're a mid-table team in the Serie A, upper half, but not really challenging for much besides, another Conference League bid or another Europa League bid. So they're okay. Some players that you need to keep an eye on for the game is Nicolas Gonzalez. Nico Gonzalez came from Stuttgart. Good player, plays on the wing, could play up top. He's a player to watch for sure. Jonathan Ikone came from, I believe it was Lille, and then he went to Fiorentina, another exciting, electrifying winger that could change the game, with his speed. A threat going forward to watch. They have the ex Real Madrid player Luka Jovic. I'm not too sure if he's still on loan, but he is there with Fiorentina. And then they have probably one of the best players from this past World Cup with Morocco, Sofiane Amrabat. I was about to say Buffon, but no, he's in France. The last time I checked, he probably made a move this past winter. But Sofiane Amrabat is linked heavily with big European clubs. One of them actually being Barca, which, is, I don't know if he is ready for that move. Personally, I think he's good, but I don't know if he's going to be good enough to replace Busquets. But that's another topic for another conversation. So Sofiane Amrabat is definitely the one to look for in the defensive midfield role. They have a couple other interesting players, some vets, Sirigu, Giacomo Bonaventura, players that have been around the league, the Serie A, and Cristiano Beraghi is a good defender that they have. So they have some good players. Obviously not the favorite. West Ham is heavily favored. You have the likes of Declan Rice, a threat up top. Benrahma can link up to play well. You have players on the wing like Lanzini or players like that could come in and make a difference. They did sign this past last summer. They signed Lucas Paqueta. He's been okay. He's definitely a player to watch. He could definitely link up to play well. Good box to box. Plays it well in the cam role. Mikel Antonio is going to be another player to look up, to keep an eye on. Can he use his physicality to, score header opportunities from the set pieces that they're very, very good at, by the way. You have players off the bench like Danny Ings that could come in and make a difference. Jared Bowen is, he has had a down season compared to last season, but he's still a pretty good player. Pablo Fornals, another player that can make a difference. I'm surprised they really haven't used Maxwell Cornet this season. He had a really good season last year with Burnley. One of the standouts for Burnley last year in the Prem, but unfortunately maybe injuries or just lack of play time. But it's going to be an interesting game. It's something to watch. It's a final. It's a European final, so I really don't care who wins as long as it's a good game. My prediction, I think it's going to be West Ham. I think maybe a 2-1 or 3-1. If Fiorentina win, that's a big win for their club, because honestly they're just a regular mid-table Serie A team winning a European trophy, so good for them. So I want to segue into the NBA Finals Game 3. I did see Game 2, and my thoughts was, the Heat did a really good job of doing what they do best. It's just scrappy, basketball. It's not really scrappy basketball. It's just, it looks scrappy, but it's just their defense, the way they play defense, and they really do a good job of Coach Bo does a really good job of identifying what they need to do, and they execute the game plan very well. They were able to allow Jokic to get his, but they really they isolated Jamal Murray with their best defenders on the perimeter, whether it was Jimmy Butler or, you know, Caleb Martin, maybe sometimes. Players like that, the wing player, to try to put some size on him, some athleticism, and just some physicality to just throw him a bit off his game. So I think the Heat, they're just that team. They're just one of those teams where you think they're just gonna get swept, but they pull out something out of nowhere. And going home, I think they have a little bit of momentum. They're gonna have home court advantage right now. The biggest question right now is, can Denver bounce back and steal one back and potentially go back to Denver 2-2. So in this game, we're going to see if Denver come out punching, or they wait for game 4 to try to steal one back, or they try to steal one now in game 3. That's the biggest thing. Can playoff Jamal Murray come back, put up some big points, 25 to 30 points. Can he be that number 2 guy that he is, especially with Jokic just going off in game 2? I don't think he's going to have another 40-plus point game. He's more like a 25 to 30 point guy. The thing was with Jokic, he only had 4 assists. And his biggest thing is he likes to get everybody else involved. He is a playmaker. He is the guy that Denver runs their offense through. So if he's only getting 4 assists, that means a lot of the other guys aren't getting their shots. So maybe, I don't know, Aaron Gordon on the wing, or Bruce Brown, or players like that. Michael Porter can create his own shot, but it's easier when you could get an easy shot or wide open shot provided by Joker. So it's going to be interesting if how Joker plays for the rest of these finals. Can he get his teammates involved? My prediction is Miami has this is the first game of the finals at home. I think they're going to come out with lots of energy. The crowd's going to be in it. I think Miami take game 3. And then my initial prediction is going to be Denver come out strong in game 4. Try to take one back. So we'll see if it flips where Denver gets game 3 and then Miami even the series in game 4, when they still have home. They still play in Miami, or if it's the other way around. So it's going to be interesting. But I can see this being tied at 2-2, heading back to Denver for game 5. So that's my initial prediction right now. Yeah, I'm not too good at predicting betting lines or anything like that. I'm no guru. But if I had to I'd put Miami Heat money line. The spread, I could see if Miami win, I could definitely see the spread being more than 10 points. And they're just going to have a lot of energy. Like an 8-point spread. For sure if they win. So would that be like a -8? I'm pretty sure. If they lose, if they're underdogs, it would be +8, pretty sure. But don't quote me on that. But yeah, I could see like a +8 spread. 8-point spread. Money line for the Heat for sure. Maybe Jimmy would definitely get 20+ points. I could see him with 4 or 5 assists. Definitely like more than 5 rebounds. Bam Adebayo, 4 5 assists for sure. Definitely more than 8 rebounds. I can see him like having like 6, 8 rebounds. And then Jokic, I would put like 6 to 8 assists, like 8 to 10 rebounds. That's my, if I would have to put a parlay. The threes get tricky. The 3 parlays get a bit tricky. On the road, it's hard for Denver. Maybe Jamal Murray and Marco Porter +3 or plus threes. And then Max Strus and Gabe Vincent plus 3 threes for both of them. I could see them going off in Miami. Definitely could. Yeah, I just want to talk about the games that are going to be on today. You got a European Cup final, the Europa League Conference or Europa Conference or whatever it's called. Technicality there, right? And preview the NBA Finals Game 3 back in Miami. So that's just my thoughts. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, for listening. And until the next one, have a great day, guys. Peace.